Hello Longhorn.
Hello Longhorn.
Hello Longhorn.
Hello, Longhorn. This is a Texas Exes podcast introducing you to Longhorn entrepreneurs and business leaders. I'm Sara Light, and today I'm so excited. I am a fan favorite of this brand. Then I found out they were Longhorns, so we had to get them on. Branch Basics co-founders. Kelly Love got her BS from the College of Education in 2008, and her best friend, Allison Evans, got her BSPR from the College of Communications in 2008. And then they started Branch Basics. So here are the co-founders of Branch Basics. Allison, you took a Von Lane. Did you know that was started by a Longhorn?
Oh.
No.
Yes. And because you're a business member, you get a 15% discount.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So moving forward, that's like our biggest life member perk here. So Alex Danza is a Longhorn, started Von Lane.
Genius.
Wow.
It is a genius.
It is a really great
system.
idea.
Yeah. And I think too, I was thinking about you guys and what space you're in and how many Longhorns. Okay. So Force of Nature Meets. I know you're
Yes,
familiar.
Katie.
And Taylor.
But also Robbie is
Oh,
a
yeah.
Longhorn.
Yeah.
He's a Longhorn. Then you have Good Pop, who's making treats that are
Daniel,
more
is that right?
Daniel.
Getz. He's a Longhorn.
Yep.
The CEO of the Honest Company is a Longhorn. It's
Okay.
no longer Jessica Alba.
Yeah, I knew
So
that. I
there's a
couldn't remember
woman
what it
named
was.
Carla
Okay.
Vernon, who she's a Longhorn. And then we have y'all. And there's just a
Y'all
lot
are-
of
Longhorns
Longhorns.
are so healthy.
Yeah, shaking up some of the spaces that
Yes.
used to be done a certain
Mouth
way.
tape.
Yeah, my friend Lindsay with VO2, mouth tape. Yeah, so there's a lot of
Honest
Longhorns.
Marys.
Honest Mary.
Honest
list goes
Marys.
on.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm so excited. I'm such a fan girl of y'all's. And I learned something as I was doing research. So I'm an OG, and we'll talk about this later. I just want to explain how I heard about y'all first.
Okay.
So it was before y'all had created your own actual.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
you are an
You
OG.
are an
ingredient.
actual OG.
So I was at a work and I was like, is this real? But I think this is real. So I worked out at this place downtown,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maya.
Maya,
Is
and
the
she
owner?
came in one day.
Yeah.
And y'all had a
That was me
salesperson.
delivering to her.
Okay.
That was
So
me.
Maya, she goes, guys, I have this new cleaning product. And this is like not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But she was like, you can spray it in your mouth.
Yep.
And that's
That
what
would
they
be
told
Maya.
me. And so she sprayed it in her mouth. And I was like, it was the first time I thought, that really would make sense. Like I would never spray, any of the other cleaners. I would never drink them. I
Yeah.
would never
Right.
anything. I was like, that's really interesting. And then I think I never bought, but I kind of followed. Then you guys will talk, like took a break, came back, and then
Yeah.
the Defined Dish posted about it. And I was like, oh, okay, yes, I have to buy
Okay,
it.
okay. Maya and now Alex. I'm
Maya,
done.
I'm in.
What
okay.
was her studio called?
It was like, it
can't
was
remember
Cycle
either.
or rock?
it was I don't remember, but it was Pilates
was-
and cycle. Yes. So I remember it so vividly. And so I had no idea y'all were Longhorns.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So OG.
Love that. You
Aware of the company.
I
Right.
love that.
Yeah.
I did lots of deliveries to Maya.
That's so funny that yes. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. We always start with why did you choose the University of Texas? And you guys are best friends, but you became friends at the University of
Yes.
Texas.
All happened here.
Yeah. So
Yep.
what are the two
Which
separate
was
stories?
like 20 years ago. I cannot believe it.
I know on the way here, I got sent a time hop picture from one of our best friends, Molly Brown, of me on the field with a silver spur as a freshman. And in little print under it said 21 years ago today. That's all I could see was 21. I was like, how is this possible?
First of all, I'm jealous that you got a date with the Silver Spur and got to go to
I
the
mean,
field.
duh. And then I married one.
Oh,
A different guy.
A different spur. Lots of spurs. We only talk about the one I married.
that's really funny. That was your dating pool.
That was it. Only within the spurs.
Well, so Allison, why did you choose the University of Texas?
Oh, so according to my grandfather, I had no choice. I'll never forget. We were on our way to New York City. I was like 10 years old, and they took each of their 5 grandchildren on a little trip or something when we turned a certain age. And we were talking about colleges, and we're sitting next to each other, and he had his tray table down, and he had his UT college ring on. And he said, Allison, you can go to any college that you would like to go to, and I will help fund wherever you would like to go. And I thought, this is awesome. And then he said, but you will graduate from the University of Texas at Austin. And he slams his ring on the tray table. And I've literally never forgotten that story. That's not really why I came here, but I just thought that was a memorable story to share. But I don't know. I mean, I grew up coming to UT games. Like Austin just seemed like the next step for me. And I've always loved writing and editing, and communication just felt like a natural path for me. And so, like I went and toured all these other colleges, and I kind of just, every time I would tour another college, I felt homesick. And so here I am.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Kelly?
So I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I grew up going to LSU games, but I had the opportunity to go check out other schools, and my parents say, y'all can go other places. So I'm thinking, if I have the opportunity to go like experience something else, then I want to check out other places. And my best friend's older sister came to UT, and we came and visited her for Roundup weekend. And I was like, this is the best ever. I want to go here. The city is cool. The school, the buildings are beautiful. And that was it. Yeah. My twin sister and I came together. So that made the move from, Louisiana to Texas easier, knowing someone. Because I remember when we got here, we felt like everyone knew each other. And we were like, how do all these girls already know each other? And it was
Camp
because
Longhorn.
of all the camps.
Yeah.
They all went to camp together. So I was really glad that my sister and I came together.
And where'd y'all live freshman year?
Hardin House.
Yeah.
Okay. And then y'all met in Pi Phi? Was it like a minute y'all met, you were best friends?
Kind of.
Yes, but really sophomore year is when we like became best friends. It was like freshman year, like you're friends with everyone, and then sophomore year, we
were
started
at a
hanging out
party at the Fiji house. And I was like, do you have a room with me?
Oh yes, we started hanging out a lot. We lived at the Texan apartment complex, and I remember Allison. I remember that night too. When we talked about rooming together in the Pi Phi house in junior year.
Yeah.
And then we lived together senior year too.
Isn't it a big deal?
Who do you live with when you think about it? It's like this casual, flippant thing that the parents are like, okay, like, do you know your roommate yet? But you're like, you're going to live with this person.
And it's early, like it's early into the year. Like you're in school for a couple months and they're like, who do you want to live with sophomore year? And you're
literally, you're like, I just met these people.
I don't know.
What if I don't like her in a few weeks?
When I look back in college, it's all the little moments that I still remember that now seem like the big moments.
Yes.
But do you have anything when you look back at your time at UT that
we went to? Oh my gosh, party pics, tops, to look at pictures like day after parties. Like that was a big memory.
As far as campus, though, I remember our rec center. I think it's actually moved. It's not the same one anymore.
There's a rec center.
But I think the one that I went to all the time, it had that long pool, like Olympic, basically, length pool or whatever. And there was racquetball. It was like really awesome.
Gregory.
Gregory.
Yeah,
I guess
it's
was
still
Gregory.
here. Yeah.
Is it still in the same spot? Okay. Well, I just remember going there and feeling like I was like, by the pool, like on vacation. I was like, this is the best school ever. And so I would just go hang out at Gregory and like treat the pool there like it was like a resort.
That is hilarious.
And
I've never even been to Gregory.
Yeah, no, like freshman year, I just like did that all the time.
That is hilarious. I love that.
And then what did you guys before,
all.
we're going to get into like how kind of Branch Basics started, but before that all started, what did y'all think you were going to do when you left UT?
Oh yeah,
that's an easy question for me because I was a health promotion major, kinesiology, health promotion. And I started taking Pilates in high school, loved it so much. The woman that I took from was a mom and taught above her garage and then had her kids downstairs, like when she was teaching. I was like, this is the best. She goes, I love Pilates so much and I want to be a mom and have a family. And so I went the health promotion fitness track and thought I was going to like become a Pilates instructor and own a studio. And then little did we know that summer right after graduation changed the trajectory for everything.
Yeah, I was a communication major and just figured I would do what people do with that. I would go work for some PR firm in Houston, maybe go to New York because
sure, why not?
I could say I did.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so everything changed though.
Yeah.
Because and I want you to tell the story because I feel like a lot of people are going to listen today that don't know the story.
Okay.
And it's so powerful.
I love that.
So you were not feeling good.
Exactly. So honestly, my time in college was like probably the lowest point in my life. And it's funny to think back because I still have really great memories of being here. And, I got Kelly out of the deal. My husband and I survived college together. We were high school sweethearts and ended up still getting married, which is shocking. But my health basically started declining, the beginning of my sophomore year. And I had grown up in Houston, Texas, standard American diet, all the things we now tell people to not use, like synthetically fragranced candles and perfumes and all these kind of toxins that are contributing to our body burden, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I was doing all that my whole life because everyone else was. And no one was talking about how that was bad. Everyone was doing these things. Everyone seemed fine. But then it's like, what's fine, And so I had my first period when I was in 6th grade, and then I never had another one. So in high school, I went and got a sonogram. I was told that I had the worst case of polycystic ovarian syndrome that the doctors had ever seen at that fertility clinic in Houston. And I had cysts all over my ovaries. So I got on birth control. I was told I would never be able to get pregnant naturally. And again, this is in high school. So this is who I am entering college. I am the girl that will not get pregnant naturally. I have the worst case of PCOS, meaning I have like crazy bad hormone issues. But you would never know. Like I looked fine. But then starting my sophomore year, I came down with this mysterious pain that started off as like, gosh, was I like cramming for this final? I don't realize like how I was sitting. That's really what I thought it was because I woke up one morning and I was just like, I'm so achy. And then it just got worse and worse and worse, like exponentially worse. In fact, I'll never forget the fall of our sophomore year, you and your twin, it was y'all's Deb in Baton Rouge. And I got there, but I was in so much pain. I could not drive home and I had to fly back and then someone drove my car home. It was just not a good time. By the end of my sophomore year, I was on painkillers, muscle relaxers, sleeping pills, antidepressants. I lived at Now's Pharmacy essentially. And no one could figure out what was going on. And I did everything from east to west. Like I did the acupuncture and rolfing and, masseuse all the way to like
Physical
steroid
therapy.
injections, PT, like everything. And I was actually registered as a student with disabilities my junior year because I just could not sit through enough class. I was going all over the country trying to figure out what was going on with my body. And
She had like a cooler of ice packs everywhere she went.
I would take ice packs with me on campus so I could sit through class. And when they melted, I would basically just have to leave class. And I would have these like burns on my back from like the ice.
What did you think, Kelly? Like as your friend, like were you just like, wow, this is a lot, or like
I don't know. I felt so
bad
bad
for me.
And was just like, how can I help? I don't know.
Yeah. But it ended up working out because so then my Aunt Marilee comes into the picture and she's our third co-founder.
Yep.
And she starts talking to me about what I was just mentioning, just this idea that we are exposed to things in our food and in our body care products and in the products that we use around our home to clean our home, ironically, that contain these ingredients that are undermining our health. And these microdoses over a long period of time is usually what contributes to sickness and disease. It's not, chronic illness. The reason most people are dealing with issues is not something that happened yesterday, So she said, some people it can manifest as a diaper rash as a baby or headaches or allergies, asthma, even like behavioral issues as a child. And a lot of times
I always think about Aaron Brockovich where, they were all exposed to the same toxic water,
Yeah.
but they all had
All
different
reacted
symptoms,
differently.
and some people got sick immediately. Some people didn't get sick until years later.
it's like mold in a home.
Yeah.
Everyone in the family, like all of a sudden your husband's like can't run the mile and then your son's on an asthma inhaler and then the wife has cramps or whatever it is. So I'm like, listen, I have nothing to lose because at this point, people are throwing out early stage MS and no one has asked me once about anything I'm eating or products that I'm using. And so Marilee is presenting something new. And so I'm like, there's actually a lot of hope in what this path could look like.
Yeah, so Marilyn's like, give me a diet diary. I want to see what you're eating, what cleaning products you're using, what personal care products you're using.
Yeah.
Do you spray pesticides
Like things
in
I'm
the
controlling
apartment or not?
Like this is actually cool.
Things that we had never even thought about relating to our health.
And in college, you don't want to like start changing your diet. You
No.
want to continue to eat Tiff Streets. But when you're in so much pain and you're living at Now's Pharmacy, like I didn't care at this point. Like I would do anything. So I did. I made some simple shifts. And there's only so much you can do when you're living in like a sorority house with, 100 other girls and you're like repainting your room every Sunday. Hairsprays and like, so I'm like, thank you God for this bubble of protection. But I like start going to Whole Foods when I'm in college. No one was shopping at Whole Foods in 2005 and 6. No, it was just there being pretty, waiting for us, waiting for the future. And I was able to see a pretty big shift, even just by shifting the like things, cleaning products and changing from Splenda to stevia, like just little things. I never even heard of stevia.
Giving up our 100-calorie packs.
Giving up my 100-calorie packs from the Pi-Fi house. I was living on those. I looked so good. I really did. I was thin. I was just...
that's like literally
walk into class with a 100-calorie pack.
Of course, because that's what we did, and everybody said that was healthy, and we thought we were being healthy.
What were those like those like cookies that like had no calories? I'm like, what's even in these? Snackwells,
fat free,
and you're fat free.
Yeah, we have to eat these because
I basically lived off those.
Yeah, the devil's food cake ones.
Yes, yes. There was like, what was even in them? There was like no calories.
No,
there was a lie. They were lying to us,
but there was no fat, and that's all we cared about.
Not go to UT. So graduation's approaching, and Kelly and I had actually kind of talked about like, should we go off to Italy and do like a cooking class? Like we're still kind of having our parents pay for our lives. You're like, what can we milk out of this, But at that point we were both so enthralled in what was happening to me, which just shows like Kelly has a twin sister and she is like my other best friend. And she's also living with us and she loves me just as much as Kelly, but she didn't really care what was happening with my health. She just was glad I was getting better. Kelly though, like there's this propensity, in the sense that
like, yes, she
but not like didn't want to know
but...
more. She's just like, I'm just glad that's worked for you. Yay. Kelly though is like, no, like we need to learn more about this. Like, it's just cool how like God puts in each of us like what our passions are, And so we went to go live with Marilee in the hill country. She lives in Hunt. And she always jokes when she got the phone call, we were both seniors at UT. And I was like, Marilee, we actually were graduating. We want to just come live with you for the summer. And she was like silent. And she was like, it was the strangest request. Yeah. These two college grads who have like their life in front of them want to come live with their aunt in the hill country. She doesn't have a cell phone. She's like, in Hunt, there's nothing cool going on really at this time in Hunt, Texas. And she was like, it was such a crazy request. I just had to say yes because I thought, well, God must have something up his sleeve here. And so sure enough, we did. And that summer, for the first time in my life, I think I went an entire day without eating a processed food. And I went 8 whole weeks doing that. And I left that summer and we entered her home. And Kelly, I'll actually let Kelly tell a little bit of Marilee's story and that because that really shows like who we are as a company and why we even exist. But her home was completely free of all toxins. It was like living in the Garden of Eden, basically. And so we left and I was out of pain. I was on
after
no drugs.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
No drugs after 8 weeks.
Zero.
Okay.
I was off birth control. That was not part of Marilee's protocol. Synthetic estrogens were not on the list. And I go back to that original doctor from, I guess it had now been about 5 years or 6 years prior. And the cysts are gone. I had like 3 cysts and previously there had been thousands. And he was like, I've never, ever seen anything like this. And I basically told him it was lifestyle changes. Like I had gotten off birth control. I had changed my diet. I changed all the products that I was using on my body and in my home. And they've since opened up a whole lifestyle clinic to their fertility clinic in Houston. And I'm still in contact with their clinic and it's been awesome. But so I've tried 4 times and had 4 children.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like witnessing all of this and just thinking, this is amazing. Like, this just makes so much sense to me. Like, of course, what we put in, on, and around ourselves every day matters and impacts our health, not just our future health, but like right now. And so I just like dove all in and I was the quote unquote healthy one. And all of a sudden I'm having no more painful menstrual cramps, no more dry eyes, no more headaches, muscle aches that I was getting like regular massage therapy for. It all disappeared. Body odor, everything.
When y'all went, what was the one thing you were like, ooh, I don't know about that. That feels crazy.
Well, what's funny is that
I
now,
was
like that,
tell me all the weird things.
Yeah, we were like, give it all to us. Like, I mean, we could really go into it, like coffee enemas and stuff. But the strange thing back then was juice.
Yeah, we
Just
were like,
juice.
we've never had like.
She's like, have you ever
kale
had
and
juice? We're like,
celery and-
orange juice? She's like, no, like the juice from a kale. We're like, a kale? I mean,
You're like,
what is
kale?
What is
Yeah.
kale wasn't in the ethos
yeah,
yet.
much
yeah.
less the juice from it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like kale, lemon, beet, carrot, celery, putting
Yeah,
it through a machine
ginger.
and juice comes out. And then we're drinking that in the mornings and we're walking
Walking
around barefoot to
barefoot,
ground
getting
ourselves.
sunlight.
In our eyes, getting in a sauna. That was strange. This was
Okay.
2008.
Yeah, nothing.
Wearing
no
blue
one was
blocker
doing-
glasses.
Wow.
Not
Yeah,
touching
Mary
our
was
cell
ahead of
phones.
the times for sure.
Yeah.
And so it was because of those 8 weeks, you have this life-changing experience. You guys started blogging. Is that kind of
Well,
what
okay,
was?
so Marilee, Allison's aunt, who I adore, and she's like basically an aunt to me. We wanted to know everything, just soak up and absorb everything we could, and so we asked her to live with her. But the reason why she had this amazing home free of toxins and knew how to make clean, healthy food was because when she was younger, she grew up really sick too and was always doctor to doctor, could never figure out what was going on. 20 years old, had exploratory surgery, told she needed a kidney transplant because she was going into kidney failure and that she would never be able to get pregnant because her endometriosis was so bad. And at that point, she was like, I don't know what happened, but I just refused to accept that that was the only way. Like, what if next year the medical community found out something that could help me and I, had gotten my kidney out? And she found out about food as medicine and literally threw out everything in her pantry and refrigerator. And she was like a huge sugarholic, like would eat anything and everything because honestly, she was never getting like nutrition. So she was never feeling satisfied. So anyway, she throws everything out, switches to completely organic, macrobiotic, whole, real foods. And within 10 days, her kidneys improved. And she's yet to take a prescription medication since, and she's 72. She's over 70. And so that was like a huge shift and wake up call for her, just the importance of food and what we put in our body. And then fast forward 10 years later, her son, so she did get pregnant. Her son was 10 years old, athletic, coordinated, brilliant little boy at school, exposed to high levels of pesticides, a mixture of banned and legal pesticides that were still being used. And all of a sudden he goes from, coordinated, athletic, brilliant to not being able to walk a straight line, hardly pick up his head off the pillow, couldn't spell a 3-letter word. And they were told he would never recover. His brain and immune system damage were so bad that it was just irreversible. And we didn't know about neuroplasticity then and how the brain can rewire and heal. And so she just, again, refused to accept that he would never recover. And through that journey, discovered the importance of the environment and how all of these products that we bring into our home and put on our skin and breathe in impact our health. And long story short, they were sleeping outside because he couldn't even be inside without reacting. His lymph nodes would swell up. He would have all these different reactions. And until she removed the last box of stuff that she was holding on to, like perfumes and nail polishes and products that she just loved, that she just put away in a box in her closet thinking, I'll pull these back out whenever he's better. Until she removed that, he was not able to be in the house. But after she did, and she had this aha moment at the grocery store, realizing when you walk down the cleaning products aisle, you can smell those products and they are sealed and closed. So everything we bring into our home is like releasing, chemicals into the air. And so that was the pivotal turn in his healing journey. And he fully recovered, went to the Naval Academy, married with 3 kids, flown secret missions. Like, he's brilliant. He's strong. It's incredible. And just word of mouth, people started asking her for advice and she started consulting. And so we literally were that summer just soaking in everything she had to share. And we were like, we want our friends and family to know about this. We want our Pi Phi sisters to know about this. Like, we this is not just like woo-woo stuff for like hippies off the grid. And
Even though
it
that's
just
what a
makes
lot of
so much
people
sense.
thought.
Yes, that's how
and
it was kind
think.
of like
Yeah, like that wouldn't happen to
framed.
me. That's a one case scenario. Like I can live in my house and I don't have any issues that I know of
Right.
right now.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
And
but
Marilee's the first to say, like, the age of chemistry, a lot of this is just unintended consequences. Like, you know, like, yes, it's great to have all these convenient products and new inventions, but there's a lot that wasn't thought about because health wasn't prioritized. And so with our products, like human health is always number one.
Well, and people say like, it's funny, you know, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but like, I know it doesn't really affect me like that. And I want to kind of gently push back and just say 1 in 3 women in their lifetime are diagnosed with cancer. 1 in every 2 men are diagnosed with cancer. We have the most advanced medical healthcare system in the world, yet we rate one of the absolute last in actual health statistics. And our longevity, our maternal care, our infant care, like those are like some of the lowest. 54% of children have chronic illness. That used to not happen. So like, how fine are we? By the time we're 40, 99% of Americans, by the time they're 40, are on prescription drugs, you know? So like, how much better could we feel? Like, what is not common versus what is normal?
Yeah. Yeah. That was the thing. I, again, was the quote unquote healthy one, but I realized all
healthy
these
because
symptoms,
what? Like you
because
were...
because I wasn't like on a bunch of medications
okay.
and I could function. And so
Marilee
we always
says you
say,
either have to
yeah.
be sick or smart.
Yes.
And I was
So
the sick
was
one
the
and Kelly
smart
was the smart
and
one.
smart, healthy
Yeah.
one. But I realized, okay, all these things that we just accept as normal, it's just because they're common. It's not because it's our body's normal. Like I realized I don't even need deodorant. Like I don't have any body odor. I don't need anything to help with cramps. I'm not having cramps at all. And that's our body's normal, but we just think that the symptoms.
It's
are
that time of
normal
month.
because
I
they're so
should be taking
common.
Midol. Everyone, my sorority sisters are all taking Midol.
Right. And that's just what we're told. I think even in the video you hear when you're 13 years old,
Right.
that
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen. And so
Totally.
you're
Right.
like, well,
You're gonna
then,
have
okay,
horrible
you
cramps.
expect it.
this is what I have
you
to
may
live
not be
with.
able to get
Yeah.
pregnant. When
Yeah.
you go through menopause, you're going to hate your life and your husband. You know?
Well, okay. So you guys, Marilee was
Yes.
this wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so did it...
So basically, we were like, we want to put your brain on the internet, and our vision for that started with a blog.
Okay.
And a website that was essentially an online retail store where we've done the research for you, or / Marilee's done the research for you. And this is the best air purifier, water filter, organic mattress, sauna. And then we also had more attainable categories like cleaning and supplements. And so we educated on the blog, and then we provided these products to help you create a healthy home and body. And it did not take long for all of our friends and family to be like, I'm so overwhelmed. Where do we start? And we realized cleaning is the best place for people to start because it is not a huge habit shift. It's not a huge investment.
Everyone cleans.
Everybody cleans.
should.
And
I'm not sure I did in college,
yeah,
but
right.
yeah.
Well, and cleaning products are some of the most toxic products we use in our home and store in our home. And most of them are supposed to be disposed of at a hazardous waste site.
But
it's
yeah,
crazy.
we use them down our toilets and our drains and around our kids.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
if you want to throw them away, Earth 911.
Yeah.
Right?
So you can go to earth911.com. But you should not be using this in your home. But so we tell people, look, if there's no ingredient list, if there are caution, warning, you need to know what you're using in your home. We just kind of blindly grab a product because we look at the front of the bottle and it says what it's for, and it might say no parabens or whatever. And so we think, oh, this is good. But we really advocated, and still do, obviously, our friends and family and customers to start just looking at ingredient lists and knowing what you're bringing into your home and putting in, on, and around yourself every day.
So y'all did go and you actually had a product that Marilee had liked that you put your name on it first, and that is what entered into the workout facility with Maya.
Yes. Yes.
Well, at
Was
that
it-
point, that was once we had
That
already
was.
branded Branch Basics.
Okay.
So
we had,
the early days when we first launched, though, it was a product that
Okay.
Marilee had used with her son and other extremely chemically sensitive clients. It was the only thing they wouldn't react to. We had, she had decades of history with it, and we were like, this branding is so bad. We could do so much better and reach so many more people if we just make this look cooler, because the product is awesome and works so well, and is obviously the safest you can get. Because Marilee had tried buying store-bought stuff, But anyway, and it didn't work with her son. He would react. And so this kind of like little company out of Florida was making this product, and we ended up getting an exclusive exclusive license agreement, and everything was going great. We decided to drop the whole website thing and just focus on building our own brand. Named it Branch Basics. Allison and I filled our whole.
Well, we had a website. We dropped like other retail products,
Yes.
And just had your
so
product.
we just had our own.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were 3 Branches Healthy Living as an online retail store and blog, and we dropped all that and focused just on Branch Basics cleaning. And Allison and I made our first batch in Houston, Texas, in the back of a store called New Living.
Y'all
Put on
made
all the
it.
labels. We like bottled them all,
Siphoning
labeled
out
them
of
all.
tubes. I mean, first year of marriage was basically spent in the back of this
Yeah. So we would buy it in bulk, like these huge
store.
jugs, and
Okay.
then fill the bottles. and-
huge drums.
And that was 2012 that we decided to go all in with just Branch Basics, and things were going great. We were kind of like slowly but surely growing. We were wearing all the hats. And I remember finally we got to a point where we were like, okay, if we keep like shipping everything, labeling everything, all this ourselves, doing the website, like we're never going to grow because we don't have time to do all this. So we
We're literally chasing Edward, the UPS guy, because my dad gave us a little part of his,
his office.
law firm. You could interview him. He's a Texas
Okay.
guy. Yeah. Real estate attorney, 4th generation, Houston, Texas. Anyway, we had
out.
this like windowless little room that we operated out of. And Edward was the UPS guy that would just pick up my dad's like legal documents. And all of a sudden now he's picking up
like,
these big boxes.
pushing a
He
cart
now
with all
has
the
his like big
boxes.
silver cart. He's like, oh, here are the girls chasing me out again with another order.
But that was our first like leap of faith to go to contract a third party to do all of our shipping and fulfillment. And so it just kind of like slowly grew from there. Like we just took one step at a time, like whatever the immediate need was, we'd figure that out. And so that's how we grew. And then we had the Dallas Morning News, I'll never forget, did this like half-page write-up on us. Actually, it was a full page, and half the page was a picture with Branch Basics. And it was all about how well it worked, and it's natural, and blah, 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 blah.
Kelly and I went on a hike. We were in Charlottesville. She was living there at the time with her husband during residency. And we came back from the hike and we had like all these orders. We were like, what happened?
Like, whoa.
And that's a big deal. The
Dallas
Dallas Morning
I think it was
News.
like $14,000. It was still like,
That was big.
Not
That's big.
crazy, but at that time we were like,
How do you
oh
remember
my
that?
goodness, this is crazy.
Wild.
So yeah, things kept growing, and we were like, okay, we have something here. We met somebody at UVA that helped us, encouraged us to raise money from friends and family. And then at that point, we realized, okay, if we're going to really grow this business, like we've got to own the formula. We're telling everyone to read ingredient labels, and we don't even have full control over this formula. And some of the ingredients, even though we know that they're safe, like we've done testing, we have all this history, we still can't tell people exactly what it is, and that just doesn't feel right. And it got to a point where, unfortunately, that relationship just was not going well. And so we decided to shut down. And
Y'all shut down for like a year and a half.
yes, almost 2 years.
You had been in the Dallas Morning News. You had the 14,000, and you just shut it
We were doing just
down.
over $1 million in sales.
$1 million in sales, and you shut it down. How old
So
were you?
this is
We were
2015.
29 because we
Yeah.
were about to get
Oh
pregnant.
yeah.
With
We
our
had both-
first.
Yeah, like 28 or 29.
Yeah.
It was very stressful,
Yeah.
but it was the best thing. It was the biggest blessing because it forced us to create our own formula, and now we have such a stronger foundation.
Yeah.
Business. Like investors would not have wanted to
Right.
continue to invest in us. The only reason we got any investment in the first place is because it was like our family. They're just believing in us that we would figure this out. But like to get $1 million, to raise $1 million when we didn't even own the formula, like they were totally just like betting on us as people and how passionate we were to make it work.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. That from everybody, it's like people bet on the people.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's the number one reason businesses fail. It's a people problem.
So when you guys decided to make your own formula, you're not chemists, I
Right.
assume, but you had to probably work with somebody who could help make the right formula. But then I'm just thinking of all the text back and forth between y'all as you're trying out the cleaning on different things and thinking of different ways to use it.
Oh, there's pictures of us. It's like
we're like going delirious.
Midnight, and Kelly's home in Barton Hills. Were we even pregnant at that time? Possibly. And there's a picture of me, and I'm literally on the floor, and I'm like, and we're testing. I mean, we went through over 100 iterations because we work with all these formulators and chemists, and we had our no list of ingredients was like a mile long. Our yes list was like a little minute long. And we're like, good luck, come up with something perfect. Thanks. And they would send us stuff, and we'd be like, but it has sodium benzoate. And they're like, but that's in every single product that's on the aisle of Whole Foods. And we're like, but not ours. And so we ended up figuring out, I mean, honestly, thank God.
Not only did we want the clean ingredient list, but we wanted it to, clean everything, not leave any streaks, like not leave any residue, not make your eyes burn or
Not
make
have
you
any
cough.
sort
I
of
would
weird
literally
smell.
go in my shower, close the door, and just spray it and see how it made my eyes feel and like if it made me cough and all that.
There is no company on
would
this
do all
earth
these
in the
stain
cleaning
tests.
world that has done more R&D than us, and it was done in a rental home in Barton Hills. And I still have my ironing board when I iron. I just like, it's like memories because it's like ketchup, mustard. It's like all these different stains, and then it's
oil.
like chlorella oil, and it has like the number of the formula that I was testing on that stain. It's like my whole ironing board is like one big test lab.
That's a good memory to have, a keepsake of the growth of your company. I love that. Well, so now for those who don't know, if they go to Branch Basics, you have expanded, but it all started, it's a concentrate.
Yes,
It's a concentrate.
Yes.
I bought it for the first time in COVID, like right before, and it lasted me, which probably means that I don't clean enough. But it did last
It
me.
just means you're not using it
'Cause
for
you just-
all the uses that you could be.
But you only need a little bit for like the all purpose. So
Yeah.
Are
So
you
it's-
removing your eye makeup with it?
I'm
for
gonna.
instance?
So here's what I also didn't know is if you go to your website, you literally have everything possible that anybody could ever clean. Because I have always wondered, and I was gonna ask, and then I went to your website and I was like, well, it's right there in English, but about like, oh wait, what am I supposed in Spanish? But what am I supposed to use dishes with? And you have an answer for that. And I mean, it's everything. Like you said, like eye makeup remover, bathing, anything
Baby
for
wipes, like window washer fluid. I mean,
We-
really, what is it not?
window washer fluid. Do you use
Literally.
it as window washer? You do.
yes,
So you
of course.
take
Put it in
out
your
your window washer
windshield.
fluid. Yes. Okay.
Of course.
Well, and so that's the other thing. We're talking to these manufacturers, and we're like, we want it to actually clean, but also be safe enough to be on your skin, on your like,
Bathe your
and
baby.
bathe your
Baby
baby.
skin.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it doesn't sting their eyes. I mean, we just foam up all of our kids, and they just get in the line. You just
Like how
spray
many
them
bottles
down.
of concentrate are you going through in a week?
Well, we use it for laundry too.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
So
now we
that
have-
would be the number one.
But now we have a laundry powder, so
You
my
do.
concentrate lasts a lot longer.
You have a laundry powder
is
and
true.
you have dish tablets, dishwasher
And then we have
tablets.
a oxygen boost, which helps with whitening, brightening, but also grout, dirty like pots and pans,
Yeah.
etc.
It's a thing, and the thing that's interesting is
works
you
so well.
say it does work so well. And okay, I have a lot of questions, but I do want to say, like, you guys say you're not just a soap company, like you're on a mission to change, how people live and create a clean home, and you've built this community. I mean, look at me. I've known about you forever. It took me a minute to buy the product, and I don't even buy it all the time, but I feel like I'm part of the community,
Yes. Oh, I love
which
that.
I think is like, it is the most intangible and hard thing to create because you can't just say I want to build a community
Right.
and then it
Yeah.
happens.
That's actually the best compliment that,
That
you could
is,
ever
yeah.
like give us, because that is what we have always wanted. Is we wanted a community, and that is why we have said no to so many different what we would like to basically say are distractions when it comes to going into retail too early. Like we always wanted to sell direct to consumer as long as possible because that relationship is so important to us, and being able to educate. Like if we are an education company first, you just can't educate when you are getting distracted in business to business relationships. And I'm just talking about our brand. It's not like, this is not like business advice for every brand, but I do think that there's such an opportunity now with social media for founders who are really on a mission and have a passion to educate and to just change conversation around whatever industry they're in. Use social media, use that as a platform. It is free. You can turn it around and you can talk to people and you can pin it at the top. And even if you start with your mom and your aunt and your brother-in-law as your followers, like if you keep speaking about the same thing and you're speaking on truth and you're selling alongside that products that are actually trustworthy and you have integrity, like you're going to build that audience. And there's people now that come to us that are CEOs and founders of businesses, and they're like, gosh, like I wish we hadn't gone into Costco so early. I wish we had actually really kept that relationship first and made more of a name for ourselves and then kind of gone the next level into retail.
What is the biggest myth about y'all's product? And I'll say, like, my husband all the time is like, that's great, but that's not going to work for this.
Right.
Yes.
It's a constant education in my house.
Yes.
Because he's like, that's great. That's wonderful, Sarah. That, you know, that's great. They're
This is
selling their
not
product.
gonna
Good
save
for
our
you.
marriage.
But we also need our brother's keeper or our Lysol or
Yeah.
our bleach,
Yeah.
right? But you say, you
Okay, so I would
don't
say
need that.
the
Yeah, you
number
don't.
one kind of most misunderstood, thing in our industry is this idea that we need disinfectants. Because what people don't realize, even though the CDC is even now saying, do not use disinfectants. The most effective way to tackle germs, bacteria, and viruses is to remove them, not to kill them. Because as you know, with Clorox, like think about the most powerful disinfectant. Nothing kills 100%, right, of bacteria. So you're going to leave that 1% behind. That 1% is the strongest, right? So you now decimated all the good and the bad bacteria. You've left the strongest, worst bacteria behind. They are going to replicate and grow and create superbugs and will become antibiotic resistant. And so it's ironic that we're bringing in these really harsh disinfectants in order to create a healthy home for our family, our children, and to, protect their immune system, when in the end, we're actually killing the very microbiome and the good guys that we need to fight the illnesses, So we say, instead, when you have a counter and you want to wash it, or you have a doorknob and your kid just touched and they're sick, you spray a soap or a gentle surfactant like a Branch Basics, and you get a cloth and you wipe it. I mean, that's
don't
a
just
novel.
douse it.
You don't just douse it with a killing
Yeah.
agent. You actually physically you do need the soap or surfactant, because surfactant basically like makes water wetter. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but it helps basically break up that bacteria, and then you just are removing it, and that is more effective than
Increases
disinfecting.
the surface tension so it can grab onto the germs and remove it.
Yeah, that's how you stay not sick, or that is how you get over sickness quicker. Like homes that have more disinfectant use actually have children that get sicker more often.
Well, let's talk about the other weird thing is people have a very, and I want you to tell the quote about the air quality after a home is clean, but people have this, we walk into our home after you cleaned it, your mom cleaned it, someone
Right.
came and cleaned it, and it just signals to the brain, I'm a responsible human. My
Yes.
home is
My
clean.
home is clean.
Like it was the best feeling because you just
Yes.
knew by that smell that your home was clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you use Branch Basics, there's no smell.
Right.
And so
Right.
it's kind of like the biggest shift where
It
you're
is.
like, it's clean, but I don't have the trigger.
You have to like rewire your brain.
Yeah.
for
You
that.
really do.
Yeah.
But what's the fact about how bad the air is?
Oh, yeah. When you're cleaning your home with conventional cleaners, the EPA says your air quality can be up to 1,000 times more toxic than the outdoor air. So, I mean,
Crazy.
literally, you're trying to clean your home and you're polluting it.
Right.
Like-
That's crazy. Okay, so here's another thing. We have a lot of college kids, obviously, because we are at the University of Texas, college kids. And, I was walking around, we have a lot of interns, and I was telling them about your product. And, they're 18, and them right now possibly spending $55 does not
Right.
feel within their wheelhouse.
Totally.
Getting clean laundry is not something they care about
Right.
right now. Maybe they should. But what do you say to somebody who's like, I don't know if I can pay for that right now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. Because we are a concentrate model and we're heavily diluted, it seems like an expensive upfront cost, and it is. But you have to remember that you're never using that straight concentrate. So once you dilute it into, let's say, the all-purpose bottle, it comes down to like $3.99 a bottle. And if you're on a subscription, so you're getting, 15% off, it comes down to like,
Well, also, we launched in Target this year, which is super exciting. And you can, if it's not in your local Target store, you can get it online. And
But it
that
is
is
here
our
in Austin.
first. Yes, in Austin, it's in a lot of Target stores in Austin.
It's like
But
$10.
that is our first time to do ready to use. So it's a great way for somebody to just like try out the brand, because
for $4.99 a spray bottle.
yeah, the spray bottles are
on,
already
guys, you can do it.
pre-mixed, ready to go, and then there is a small size concentrate. So for $10.
But if you're already buying a spray
$9.99.
bottle, it's another option of another spray bottle. If you're not
Yes.
cleaning it all, then I don't know what to
Then we
tell
can't
you.
help you.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe therapy, which is even more expensive.
That sink that roommates have that they share.
If someone is listening and they are in college, and if you start thinking about these things now, will serve you and your family so much greater than you can possibly imagine. I only wish that I had known these things earlier than I did. And the amount of college kids just post-college that we hear from and work with, I mean, through DMs and emails, I mean, we're constantly talking to our customers, and we just have like a strong community in that way, that are suffering, I mean, on birth control or have endometriosis, or a few years later are trying to get pregnant because they always thought they would start a family early. And now, you know, half of them can't get pregnant without, I mean, that is costly, right?
Yep.
And so you pay for wellness now, or you pay for illness later. Like, there is a time, that's not like a fear mongering thing, but there's a time in which all of our bodies have a threshold and spillover is reached. And so the earlier that we can start caring about these things really is very beneficial.
Reducing our body burden in any way we can. And also, we're really big about just not stressing. Like the fear and the stress and anxiety around all this can be just as toxic.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking, oh, I have to go buy Branch Basics or else I'm like not using safe cleaners, it's like, just get rid of the stuff that you know is not good and use like soap and water or baking soda or lemon juice or vinegar. You know, like, don't stress about having to have like all the things, you know, that all the health and wellness people talk about. It's more just getting back to basics, removing all the stuff that you can, like candles, air fresheners, you know, scented laundry detergent, just literally switching your laundry detergent to a completely fragrance-free laundry detergent is like game changer. I mean, we never escape our laundry. It's in our clothes, our sheets, our towels.
That is the biggest takeaway. That's the biggest takeaway, is removal, not acting, feeling like you have to do all these expensive things. You don't need an infrared sauna or a 5-day juice cleanse, or you don't need these things. First, go to your home, see what is not serving you, what is actually undermining your health efforts, and that alone is your cleanse.
I think I read somewhere that the cleaning industry is like a $14 billion cleaning industry, something like that. Is it starting to wake up?
I think it is.
Yeah, I
do
think so.
feel like people are waking up. I mean, even just in speaking with our buyers at Target, they cannot believe how they can't keep the naturals section within the cleaning aisles. They can't keep it stocked. I mean, our biggest issue since we launched is that our products are sold out. People want this, you know? And so I was telling our buyer, we were like interviewing because we're wanting to launch our dish tabs in Target next year. And he was like, do you have any, you know, just advice in general, or like how can we make our aisle better? Or like, what have you seen from surface cleaning? Because we've already launched within the surface cleaning aisle, and they're separated in kind of by different buyers. And I said, listen, even if you say no to us, like even if you don't take us on, I recommend that you quadruple at least your section for naturals, because people are waking up. Social media is educating the masses, and we no longer, moms are looking for better alternatives, you know?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's so much confusion. So you say, like, is the industry waking up? I do. It's a yes and no, because the industry knows that people are becoming more aware. And so there is going to be, like, you know, like I said earlier, the no parabens or the this and that on the front of the bottle. But like, the biggest takeaway is just turn the bottle around and look at the ingredient list and know what you are bringing in your home.
And you have a reference on your website too, but I think it might even just link to a national one as well.
Yeah, and
right?
EWG is a great resource. There are a few apps now that you can get to help you, you know, think dirty. There's some other ones, but and again, if there's no ingredient list, that's a red flag right there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for coming in. This is such a treat. It was like I said,
being here.
I heard y'all on another podcast a couple years ago, and I literally was like, they're Longhorns. And then one of our coworkers' sister is one of y'all's friends. She's like, they are. And I was like, how does not everybody know this? So I'm always spreading the word. What was y'all's favorite place to grab food when you're in college? And now it's actually probably changed. So you probably just want to say that
Curvy Lane. Every time I crammed for a test, I went and got pancakes afterwards. That was like hands down the blueberry pancakes.
And where do you go now when you come back?
Honest Mary's, my brother's
Oh,
restaurant.
yeah, that's right.
Duh.
Gosh, I don't know. I can't remember. All I can think of right now is Gumby's, the pizza.
How things have changed.
Yeah.
It's funny
It's
when you,
gone though, right?
yeah, it's funny when you say Whole Foods. I always thought of Wheatsville is the place where I was
Yes.
like, what is that
What
place?
is that weird place?
I never
no one
went,
shaves armpits.
No, I never went in because it was just like, I knew what it was, but I was like, that's not for me. Like,
Smells like wheatgrass in there. I don't know about those people.
But now I'm like, oh wow,
I love
they
it.
were really onto something.
If someone would just give me a gift card to Wheatsville, I'd be thrilled.
Exactly. Well, thank you and hook 'em horns.
Yes.
Thank you.